Hello again. Today we will talk about irregular verbs of past simple. In the last video we talked about regular ones, so today we will talk about irregular ones in past simple. Okay, in the end of this video, I expect from you to use words that signal differences between present and past simple statements related to common activities, and also to complete most forms related to information in the past. Here, there is a question that I would like you to think about for a few seconds. What did they do 100 years ago? So, what did people have or didn't have? What did they do or didn't do 100 years ago from now? Take some time and guess. Okay, you probably found some things that people didn't have or had 100 years ago from now. So let's see. Here we have three texts that tells us, did people wear jeans 100 years ago? Did people have mobile phones 100 years ago? How did people travel 100 years ago? So you will listen to the three texts and you will match them with the pictures that you can see. Let's listen.
3. Students' book, page 32. Exercise 1. Listen and read. Match the photos with the answers 1 to 3. What did they do 100 years ago?
Did people wear jeans 100 years ago?
1.
Yes, they did. But people only wore jeans for work. Young people started to wear jeans in the 1950s. They became very fashionable for men and women in the 1960s.
Did people have mobile phones 100 years ago?
2.
No, they didn't. People had home phones, but they didn't have mobile phones. There were some mobile phones in the 1980s, but they didn't become popular until the 1990s.
How did people travel 100 years ago?
3.
They walked and they rode bikes and horses. For long trips, they went by train. There weren't many cars because they were very expensive.
Okay, so now you understood about some things that people had or didn't have 100 years ago. I hope that you understood which picture goes with which text. So let's see if you matched them right. Good. So the first text is picture B. The second text is picture A. And the third text is picture C. Okay, now you will read the three texts once more and you will guess which one is true and which one is false from the statements that you can see on the slide. So people wore jeans at work, so it's true. Young people wore jeans and t-shirts. There weren't any mobile phones. There weren't any bikes. And people went by train for long trips. So let's see which ones are true, which ones are false. Okay, so the second one is false, the third one is true, the fourth one is false, and the fifth one is true. Now, irregular verbs. They are called irregular verbs because they don't have a rule. In the previous video that we talked about regular ones, that the rule was by adding ed in the end of the verb, irregular verbs don't have that rule. They change their form in past simple. So let's see how do they change. So you have the present and the past simple of the same verbs. Become, became, buy, bought, drink, drank, eat, ate, go, went, have, had, make, made, ride, rode, see, saw, take, took, and wear, were. As I said, we don't have a rule that we follow with irregular verbs in the past, but we can kind of separate them and classify them. So, some of the verbs don't change its form in past simple. For example, put, put, put. So it remains the same in the past. Cost, cost, cost. We have some other ones too. You can check the list. You have it in the end of the book of irregular verbs in the past. And you can see which ones change and how do they change in the past simple form. Some of the verbs change the simple past and past participle forms, like bring, brought, brought, like stand, stood, stood. So they change in past form and past participle form. Some verbs change only one form, usually vowel. For example, run, ran, run, come, came, come. Some verbs have 3 different forms, like swim, swam, swam, eat, ate, eaten. So you can classify them like this in order maybe to remember them easier. So, when we use irregular verbs in the past simple, they follow the same rules as regular verbs. The positive uses the past tense of the irregular verb. The negative is formed by did plus not plus infinitive. Questions are formed with did plus infinitive. So, did you see the film? Yes, I saw it. Or yes, I did. See is the infinitive used in the question. Saw, the irregular past simple. Did you go to the park? They went, but I didn't go. Go is the infinitive used in the negative and question. Went is the irregular verb in the past simple. Did you write your essay? Yes, I wrote it last week. So, write is the infinitive used in the question. Wrote is the irregular past simple. Here we have some exercises using irregular verbs in the past. So take your time and try to turn those irregular verbs that you can see in the gaps, in the brackets, and change them into past simple form. So take some time and then we will check them together. Okay, let's check them together. So, Susan had a baby in August. 2. At the age of 23, she became a teacher. 3. She drank too much coffee yesterday. 4. We rode our bike to Edinburgh. 5. We went home at 7 a.m. For homework, you're going to complete page 32 in activity book. This was about past simple of irregular verbs. I hope you understood it. If you want to practice them, you can check your book in the end and see the list of irregular verbs. Thank you for your attention.